state of Texas, but it's been the feeling of our organization for a number of years that to help, especially in some of these court challenges at the state level and in a variety of other areas, that we should put this in the state constitution, as a number of other states have done. Also mention, I didn't mention earlier, how many of y'all are familiar with the kind of secondary battle that's going on now on Obamacare about the HHS mandate, where Obamacare is forcing religious institutions to provide abortion-inducing drugs, contraceptives, and a number of things. You've seen there's a number of court cases going on about that all over the country, and a couple of the courts have struck down or put a temporary restraining order on some of that, and a lot of that hinges on similar language that the federal government has. So in addition to the, of course, the First Amendment protection that we all have that has been warped in so many ways, the federal government has similar language that is helping protect on some of these HHS mandate cases. Yep. Yeah, I mean, not that we have seen.
So would that protect you if it's also for end of life? That if Obamacare is trying to regulate beginning of life, doesn't it make sense that this would also protect end of life? Like, oh, well, we're just gonna give grandma.
Yeah, I would think it would.
We're not gonna do this.
Yeah, potentially.
That's not your directive because it's against your religious.
Right. Yeah. I'm not sure if that specifically has come up yet, but that's would be something interesting to look into.
Sir?
So I don't know if I'm following the right process here, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
I don't know either, but I do have questions to ask.
Okay.
Sharia is creeping into everything. I am concerned the wording of the free exercise of religion could lead somebody to say, you know, it was okay for me to kill my daughter because I have free exercise of religion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. What's that?
We amend that first line into something of.
The free exercise of religion. Well, I mean, that's right.
Not yet.
Can we get you, if you're going to make comments, can we get you to go to that microphone over
Okay.
there so we can get
Line
it on
up.
the record and kind of line up as you do it, so we can have the back and forth done properly?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, don't start it again. Just continue it.
Yeah. Well, as we said, it's you know, obviously the U.S. Constitution supersedes all in Sharia law. The full language, of course, we haven't filed a bill. We haven't filed the bill yet, but we will certainly take those concerns into account. And there would be language that the way this language would work, it doesn't allow those kind of things to happen because there's standing precedent that, you know, the government has an interest in not allowing people to be stoned to death, or, you know, some of those aspects. So in those types of situations, you know, the compelling interest of the government supersedes someone's belief.
And this is just a resolution, not a law.
Right.
Okay.
Well, this is a resolution to call for a constitutional amendment. Yep.
Okay, do you need me to backtrack on that at all?
No. You want to push the button on that thing?
There, now the green light's on. Okay, my question was just, I want to make sure that as we say person's free exercise of religion, that we consider that there are many religions and some of them have practices and laws of their own that we may not want in Texas. And so I want to be careful about the wording, that we don't
Yeah.
invite a loophole that was unintended.
Okay. Well, The language about the free exercise, of course, that mimics what's in the First Amendment of our Constitution. So,
John Brady from Temple, Salado. The next to the last paragraph says, whereas 30 states have state constitutional protection. Isn't that number subject to change, and does that statement need to be in this resolution?
you are correct. That could change. So we could change that to say whereas
Numerous states
or more than half of the states or something else. Yeah, currently.
But I'm just thinking that would just say numerous states have state constitutional protection rather than 30. No, it's just a thing that might get into be a sticky question later.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you could just say a majority, whereas a majority of states. Okay.
Let's have two more on that, and then if you want to make amendments, we can start going through that process.
Okay, Judy Brady from the Central Texas Tea Party. The only question I have is in the first statement where it says protects the free exercise of religion from government. What about from other groups? And my specific here is the group that comes down to protest a burial of an armed services individual. And I would like to see some sort of protection for our military that have served this country and that were laying to rest in the state of Texas be free from those type of things as well as put in there as well.
Well, and that's a really good point. Most of those groups, and of course we go up against groups like the ACLU and Americans United for Separation of Church and State, and a number of those groups. Of course, what they're fundamentally trying to do is they're asking the government to step in and trample on our rights. So, one of the atheist groups that came in and targeted Governor Perry last year, the year before, when he was trying to hold the prayer rally. Obviously, that was a private group, but they were coming in and asking the government to shut down, Governor Perry's constitutional right to hold a rally and pray and so forth. So fundamentally, it's most of these groups are asking the government to do these things.
And they would ask the government for access to the cemetery, is what you're saying. But
Right. Yeah.
I look at this resolution and I can think of 30 different ways to phrase the amendment, only about half of which I would support. So isn't this resolution premature without actual wording of the actual amendment?
I'm sorry, you'll have to.
Well, I couldn't support this resolution because it could easily turn into an amendment that I would be very opposed to. But without the wording of the actual proposed amendment being part of the resolution, I couldn't decide whether to support it or not.
But we haven't started the amendment process.
Right, but we're trying to accept this resolution as something we want to move forward with, whereas I might support it now once we get the wording of the actual amendment. I mean, it could pass with 60% votes, but the actual amendment might only have 25% support of the Tea Party members. Seems like we're kind of spinning our wheels at that point.
Well, if you have an amendment that you would like to write, or a resolution that you would like to write and submit,
Well,
You
that
know,
would
then-
take going through the Texas Constitution and figuring out what the amendment should say. And that's not going to happen today.
this is a resolution.
Yeah, this is
Right,
this is
so-
a resolution.